Sir, our next question tonight is from Angelina, who I believe is right here. If you want to come forward, Angelina.
Hi, Angelina.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. President.
Let me stand up for you. Go ahead.
My name's Angelina, and I was raised in a Philadelphia Democrat household, a union household. As a mother of a blended family, my top issues are the same issues that face all Americans. Illegal immigration hurts Black Americans. Inflation hurts Black Americans. And dangerous cities hurt Black Americans. Like my fellow Americans, my grocery bill has not gone down. Everything is still so very expensive. What steps will your administration take to help American families suffering from this inflation?
So, it's such a great question in the sense that people don't think of grocery. It sounds like not such an important word when you talk about homes and everything else, right? But more people tell me about grocery bills, where the price of bacon, the price of lettuce, the price of tomatoes, they tell me. And we're going to do a lot of things. Our farmers aren't being treated properly. And we had a deal with China, and it was a great deal. I never mentioned it because once COVID came in, I said that was a bridge too far, because I had a great relationship with President Xi. And he's a fierce man, and he's a man that likes China, and I understand that. But we had a deal, and he was perfect on that deal. $50 billion he was going to buy. We were doing numbers like you wouldn't believe for the farmer. But the farmers are very badly hurt. The farmers in this country, we're going to get them straightened out. We're going to get your prices down. But you asked another question about safety and also about Black population jobs and Hispanic population, in particular those two. So when millions of people pour into our country, they're having a devastating effect on Black families and Hispanic families more than any others. I think it's going to spread to a lot of other places. I think it's going to spread to unions. I think unions are going to have a big problem because, employers are just not going to pay the price. They're going to, and it's a very bad thing that's happening. So they're coming in, many are coming in from jails and prisons and mental institutions, insane asylums. That's like, a step above, right? A insane asylum. And whenever I go, Hannibal Lecter, you know what I'm talking about. They always go the fake news. That's a lot of fake news back there, too. But they always mention, it's a way of demeaning. They just say, Hannibal Lecter, why would he mention? Well, you know why? Because he was a sick puppy, and we have sick puppies coming into our country. I figure that's better than wasting a lot of words. You just say Hannibal Lecter, we don't want him, but they always sort of say, why would he say that? I do it for a lot of reasons, but I do it because we are allowing some very bad people into our country, and they're coming as terrorists. You saw the other day, last month they had the record number of terrorists. I had a month, and I love Border Patrol. Did you see they gave me a full endorsement 2 days ago? Border Patrol. The Border Patrol. And they're great. And, they want to do their job. They don't want to let these people come in. They look at them. They can tell. They can look at somebody, say good, bad. They say what's coming into our country now, it's having a huge negative impact on Black families and on Hispanic families and ultimately on everybody. And we're going to close that border so tight, it's going to be closed. And I said the two things I'm going to do. First, we're going to close that border, and people are going to come in. You want people to come in. We need people to come in. People are going to come into our country legally. It's so unfair. You have people that are waiting on a system, on a line, and they've been waiting on this line, you know how long? For years, 10 years, 12 years, and they study and they take tests, and then people come. I actually say, why don't you just just come on across. I tell people that it's terrible, right? I said, go out. You're incredible. They say, what can I do to speed up the process? I say, you know what? Go to the southern border. I'll see you on the other side. It's so unfair. But we're going to have them come in legally. You have to see what they have to do. They take tests on, who was the first one here? What date was this? What does 1776 mean? All the stuff. And these other people are coming in, and they're affecting the school systems, and they're affecting the hospital system. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, a town of 50,000 people, they've just added 32,000 people, illegal immigrants, and we're not going to put up with it, and we're going to take care of your costs are going to come down, and you're not going to have a problem with because the biggest problem, and I'm hearing it from black people, and to a lesser extent right now, but it'll be the same, Hispanic people. And I'll tell you what, our poll numbers have gone through the roof. With black and Hispanic have gone through the roof. And I like that. I like that. I like that. So we're going to take care of it. You will be, I'll tell you, if everything works out, if everybody gets out and votes on January 5th, or before, it used to be, you'd have a date. Today you can vote 2 months before, probably 3 months after. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But we're going to straighten it all out. We're going to straighten that out, too. We're going to straighten our election process out, too. That's going to be important also. So thank you very much, darling. We're going to get it straight. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelina. Mr. President, we had in the last year over 800,000 Americans lose their jobs in this country. But 1.2 non-citizens took those jobs. They're filling the jobs that Americans could have to provide for their families. And Kamala Harris has been in charge of this border. She is the one who has been the border czar, who has facilitated this invasion. I've always called it an invasion and a war zone down there because we see the criminals and the terrorists coming across.
It is an invasion like we've never seen before. And if it was an invasion of people that deserve to come in or that will love the country, will be great. She used to go around saying, they don't commit crime. Have you seen the gang from Venezuela, what they've done in Aurora, Colorado?
But it's only a few. According to Martha Raddatz. According to Martha, it's just a few apartment buildings.
And by the way, it's hundreds all over the country, and they're like me. They're in the real estate business, but they take it over with rifles. They take it over with a level of sophistication, because you know a lot about guns from where you come and you like it. And I'm a big protector of the Second Amendment. We've gotten totally endorsed. And if you think that's easy, it's not easy. But the NRA gave me total endorsement. I assume you got total endorsement. We have no choice. We have to have it. I mean, especially when you have, it's amazing. These radical left lunatics, they want everybody to come into our country. Many of those people are criminals. And then they want to also take your guns away simultaneously. So they don't want your guns, but they want them to come in. So you need it for protection. If somebody knows that you have a gun in your house, they say, let's go after somebody else. People put signs that are this gun, or we have, some of them actually spell the kind of a gun they have. We have an AK-47 inside. And people say, you know what, let's just, and I knew about an AK-47 from a few weeks ago. And the AR-15, I know about that one too. I know a lot. But you know what? You have a lot of bad people out there, and you can't, it just can't be a one-way street. You know one thing, because she wants to take your guns away, if you take them away, the bad guys are not giving them up. That's the only thing. I don't think the good people are giving them up either. You want to know the truth? But the bad guys are not giving up their guns. That's the only thing I know for certain, right?
It's true. You're true. Your J.D. Vance did a fantastic job on Sunday morning,
Is he
calling
doing
out
a
the
good
fake
job?
news. Yes. For how they're trying to diminish the devastation that's going on in some of these communities. And Kamala Harris has facilitated losing 300,000 children as well since she's been in charge of the border. I always say that they're not missing children, that they are trafficked and kidnapped and murdered children because they've come across that border and we have no idea where those children are. And we know how devastating it is, what's happening to their lives right now with what she's facilitating.
I think that, all bad numbers, we have a lot of bad numbers. There's so much bad happened in this administration. It's disgraceful. As an example, there'd be no war with Russia and Ukraine. There's no way. I get along very well with Putin. I fully understand what's happening. It was the apple of his eye. He used to talk about it. But I said, you're not going in. And he wasn't going in. It's only because of Biden. He looked at this guy. He can't even believe it. But the same with Ukraine. I got along very well with Zelensky, very well. In fact, he came to New York 2 weeks ago. He came to see me, and I got along very well with him. I'm going to negotiate that thing out. That is now a death trap. You have cities that are all down, those gorgeous golden domes, those magnificent domes are laying on their side, all busted up after, I don't know, they're 1,000 years old or something, the heritage, what's happened there. But many more people are killed than they're reporting. They knocked down, that was my business, they have apartment houses that are they're like 3 blocks, city blocks long, not that tall, but pretty tall, and they are big, and they knock it down with a missile, and they say 2 people were slightly injured. a lot of people. The number of people dying in the Ukraine-Russia war is a far greater number than anybody knows. And Biden has done nothing about it. He hasn't even spoken to Putin in over a year. Know nothing about it. And this is a war that has to end, and we're going to get that war ended. I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House. Got to stop the people from dying. They said to me, well, whose side are you on? I was interviewed by fake news, CNN, you know, fake news. Uh-oh, their camera just went off. Their camera just went off. No. Their camera just went off. Okay, it always happens. Whenever I point to them, immediately they turn off because they know it. But I was Caitlin Collins, a nice person, but Caitlin Collins is interviewing me, and she said, well, whose side are you on? I said, it's not a question of sides. I want people to stop dying, that's all. I want people to stop dying. And, you know, it was a very interesting thing because it was a CNN, it was like this, a smaller room, much smaller. This is a big room. This is a very big room, but it was a much smaller room. But they had all people in there from CNN. Within the first 5 minutes, they were totally on my side because it's common sense. And we're now the party of common sense. I say it. We're conservative, but we're the party of common sense. We need walls. We want good education. We want low interest rates. We want to be able to buy a house. We want jobs. And you know what? We want a strong military. I rebuilt our entire military. And we want a strong military. And ideally a strong military that we don't have to use. Isn't that even better? We'll have a strong military. If we don't have to use it, that's even better.
I love it. I love it. So, Mr. President, let's get